Hello students, this would be the next class of your investment management subject. I have completed my 3 units. If you can see over here, we are done with the common stocks. Third unit also analysis and valuation. I have explained you in my last class computational procedure of Sensex and Nifty and P by E, P by BV and PS ratios as such. Today I am going to start the fourth unit, that is portfolio theory. This is similar to your first unit what we have done, risk return analysis. If you can see over here, I have shown you from problems on risk return, um, how to calculate the standard deviation, risk and return, portfolio risk and portfolio return. That will be the extension over here. You are going to again do the similar problems in portfolio return and risk. I want you all to just go through it once, what we have done in our classes. So I'm going to give you a little bit overview about the what we have done and that movement, that is about the portfolio theory. So let's start doing this. If you can see this, risk and return also I have shown you how to do it. Standard deviation also. Risk is nothing but the variability between expected and actual return. We may expect something and we end up getting something else. So risk return is nothing but the returns what you get from the particular investment as such. Whereas your investor cannot be sure of the amount that he is going to receive, so there can be many possibilities. So expected return is nothing but the weighted average of possible returns, with the weight being the probability of occurrence. So possible of returns, it could be like out of 100%, 80% I may get positive returns, 20% I may not get positive returns as such. So expected return is nothing but the weightage of that possible returns as such. So this is the formula what we have used also. If you just check out, just go through your first chapter, you will come across this all expected return. And if you see this, you multiply the probability. Suppose if you know a given investment has a 50% chance of earning a return of 10, a 25% chance of earning a return of 20, and there is a 25% chance of bearing a loss. So what is the expected return means? Chance means possibility of loss. It can be positive or negative as such. So tan into probability, these all are. First column is returns, second column is probability, 50%, 25%, 25%, what he has said you, possibility of loss. What you do is you multiply over here, you add them. This is nothing but your expected return. So now when you talk about a risk is the variability. I may expect some 80% return from my investment. I may end up getting 60% return. So it is nothing but 20% less I got from what I have expected. So it's nothing but risk is nothing but the variability of getting the difference as such. These are the different types of risk we have already discussed. When you talk about sensitivity is nothing but it's an approach which you access the risk. Like I may get the possible expected returns. So it's nothing but it helps to obtain a sense of variability. How much variability is there, what I am expecting and what I am getting as such. So this is nothing but a range, what we call maximum minus minimum. So if you see over here, major boom is 635, minor boom is 600. So that's the difference is nothing but your range as such. Standard deviation, this also I have shown you. Just go through what I am saying is just go through the formulas what I have given you. A little bit words, the explanation will be similar, only the alphabet can be different over here. Just go through them once. What I want to tell you is just go through them. See over here, PY, this is nothing but returns, probability, these are, you multiply them, you get the total. Okay, you multiply these two columns, you get the total. Now what you do over here is y square, you need to square it, then multiply with this column as such. So that is nothing but standard deviation. Coefficient also I have done, coefficient of variation. Just I want all of you to just go through it once. It's similar over here. So a grouping of financial assets such as stocks, bonds. See what we say, don't put all the eggs under one basket. What happens? All of them will broke off, isn't it? So what we say is, instead of investing in one source, you invest in different sources. So at least if you get loss from one source, you get the profit from the another source. Okay, another 4 sources you'll have a chance that you'll get a profit. Even if you get a loss in one source as such. So portfolio is nothing but a combination of securities, stock, bonds, stocks or equity stock, it could be preference stock, it could be, or you invest in a gold or a real estate or a billion as such. So instead of investing in one source, you invest in different source. Bond is another example. It's a long-term loan which company issues if they want any loan and all to general public. They give their sort of loan and all to the company. So a good portfolio consists of financial assets that are not strongly positively correlated. So a good portfolio, they consist of financial assets, different assets, as I said just now, stock, bond, debenture, gold, real estate and all. So it's a combination of financial assets that are not strongly correlated. There will not be much relationship between them. Do different, as I said, stock and real estate do have any relationship? No. So they are not positively correlated as such. So here if you see, stocks has been given, standard deviation and weight of investment has been given. Expected return, what we have done, just go through those problems, what we have done. This is also we have done portfolio risk and return formulas. Just go through them. I want to tell you covariance also we have done. So this is what I want to explain you. Diversification is also that only instead of investing in one, you invest in different sources. Portfolio should contain some high risk and some low risk securities. For a company, portfolio containing of 20 to 25 securities is suitable. Kinds of risk are systematic and unsystematic risk. Systematic risk means that have systematic means you have that is not controllable, whereas unsystematic means it has controllable. Systematic means uncontrollable, means external to the company, what we say is you have government factors, political factors, recession happened, interest rate fluctuated, volatility fluctuation happened, and your currency fluctuation happened, and your repo rate is being affected, inflations are happening. So it's external to the companies which you don't have control on it. Okay, that is nothing but systematic risk. When you talk about unsystematic risk, it is nothing but controllable, like internal to the company, like any employee has done fraud or took away money. So what you can do is you can simply remove him, isn't it? So those are internal to the company as such. So that is what I want to tell you. Now when you talk about here, you can see systematic risk is you have you don't have control, whereas unsystematic risk you have control on it. The investor can only reduce the unsystematic risk by means of a diversified portfolio. That is, if you invest in different sources, you can have control on your securities. So since the investor takes systematic risk, therefore he should be compensated for it. Like systematic is nothing but you don't have control on it, whereas unsystematic means you have control on it, like internal to the company, factors which are internal to the company. Return compensations depends on the level of risk to measure the risk. Okay, it depends upon the level of risk you're taking to measure the risk. For that we use capital asset pricing model, CAPM. If you see this, what I have explaining you is capital asset pricing model. You also had in your common stock. What I was doing, anyhow I am going to explaining in 4th unit, so I have not explained in 3rd unit that thing. So we are going to discuss about now Harry Markowitz portfolio theory. So now we are going to discuss about some of the topics of portfolio theory. The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. So basically, efficient frontier. This has been given by Markowitz. Harry Markowitz is a person who has introduced this concept, portfolio theory. So that is the name itself of portfolio. It has been given as Markowitz model also for that reason. So it has been given in the Journal of Finance in the year 1952. Portfolio selection, rather than choose each security individually, choose portfolio that maximum return for given level of risk, those that lie on the efficient frontier. When managing large number of securities, the number of statistical inputs required to use the model is tremendous. So when you have number of securities, you cannot manage all of them. So for that reason, basically you say that use the efficient frontier. The correlation or covariance between each pair of securities must be evaluated in order to estimate the portfolio risk. So now the correlation means here again how they are having the relationship between the securities. Each pair of securities must be evaluated. So every security, whether you are investing, suppose you have 10,000, you are investing 1,000 in your equity share, 2,000 in your this debenture, 3,000 in your gold and all, billions shares. So how they are going to be evaluated, that must be estimated using the portfolio risk as such. So the very first thing what I want to tell you is single index model. I hope you all of you it is clear the Markowitz theory. So as I said, born on portfolio theory, for which he also received a Nobel Prize in economics. He has written an article on portfolio selection. His findings was greatly. So there are two main concepts in modern portfolio theory. An investor goal is to maximum returns for any level of risk. Risk can be reduced by creating a diversified portfolio of unrelated assets. So an investor goal is to maximize returns for any level of risk assets. For any level of risk, the main goal will be to maximum returns with a less risk asset. If less, how it can be reduced is by diversifying your investment assets in unrelated assets. So instead of investing your whole amount in only one share, you invest one amount in, like say for example Infosys is there. Instead of investing all 10,000 of your rupees in Infosys, use 2,000 in Infosys, 3,000 in Wipro, another 5,000 in some other company, Bajaj Finance and all, something like that. You, instead of investing in one, you invest in different sources assets, because if you get loss also, you'll get in one source but benefit in another one as such. So before the development of Markowitz theory, the combination of securities was made through simple diversification. The layman could make superior returns on investment by making a random diversification in his investments. A portfolio consisting of securities of a large number will always bring a superior returns than a portfolio consist of 10 securities, because the portfolio is 10 times more diversified. So a large number of securities is more benefitable. Okay, that is what Markowitz theory says. The simple diversification would be able to reduce unsystematic risk or diversifiable risk. In securities, both diversifiable and diversifiable securities are present. Unsystematic risk we have just discussed, so we're not going to discuss it again. So what were the assumptions? The market is efficient and all investors have in their knowledge all the facts about the stock market, and so an investor can continuously make superior returns either by predicting past behavior of the stock through technical analysis, or by fundamental analysis of internal company management, or by finding out the intrinsic value of shares. Thus all investors are unequal in category. So the markets are efficient, okay, because the investors will have all the facts related to the stock market. So the investor can continuously make superior returns either by predicting the past behavior of the stock, or by through technical analysis, or by fundamental analysis of internal company management, or by finding out the intrinsic value of shares. So this is one of the assumption. All investors before making any investment have a common goal. So this is the avoidance of risk, because they are risk averse. So their goal will be to avoid the risk. All investors would like to earn the maximum return of rate that they can achieve from their investment as such. So Markowitz brought out the theory to find out how the security returns are correlated to each other. So by combining the assets, what he was doing, the low risk maximum return could be brought out by investors as such. So the investors base the decisions on the expected rate of return of an investment. So investor assumes that while making an investment, he will combine his investment in such a way that he gets a maximum return with a minimum risk. So minimum risk and maximum returns as such, that was the main idea. So now we are going to talk about the efficient frontier. As I said just now, even if you have a portfolio, keep it in a efficient frontier. So this is the place where your standard deviation is there, risk and volatility, your fluctuation of the shares. The line represents the efficient frontier where the optimal combination of risk and returns is happening. So your risk and return is fluctuating over here only. Your returns are also going above higher, and your returns are also not going lower. So in such a manner, each dot represents a portfolio. Those closest to the efficient frontier have the potential to produce the greater returns with the lowest degree of risk. So these dots, if you see, this is an efficient frontier where you have risk also, returns also simultaneously, but which are nearer to, these all are the portfolios which are nearer to this efficient frontier. Those securities, those portfolios will have a higher possibility of getting the returns with a risk asset. So this is how this line was made to have a combination of risk and return. Risk also should be there. No security will be there without risk. Okay, every investment will have a risk. So they will have a correlation, higher and lower, based on your investment. So the close to this line, the efficient frontier, you get the returns and risk simultaneously, depends upon the amount of investment you are making. This was the efficient frontier as such, what I have shown you in my previous slide. Efficient frontier, these are the dots which are more closest to it will get the maximum returns, and with less risk also. So what it says, we are going to discuss over here. The chart above shows a hyperbola showing all the outcomes of various portfolio combinations of risky assets, where standard deviation is plotted on x-axis and return is plotted on y-axis. So standard deviation is plotted over here and returns are plotted over here. So the straight line represents a portfolio of all risky assets and the risk-free assets, which will usually a government bond. The straight line, if you see over here, the straight line, it represents of all risky assets and risk-free assets, which is usually a government bond. It will be a risk-free assets. Tangency portfolio is the point where portfolio of only risky assets meets the combination of risky and risk-free assets. This portfolio maximizes return for a given level of risk. This is where the nearer securities are, portfolios are risk-free returns. Portfolio along the lower part of the hyperbola will have lower return and eventually higher risk. Portfolio to the right have a higher returns but also a higher risk. To the right will have a high portfolio and with higher risk also. So what it says is, Markowitz approach determines for investor the efficient set of portfolio. Three important variables will be there: return, standard deviation and coefficient of correlation. Through this method, the investor, with the use of computer, find out the efficient set of portfolio by finding out the trade-off between risk and return. According to this theory, the effects of one security purchase over the effects of other security purchase are taken into consideration, and then the results are evaluated. So this is what I want to tell you. This we have done. The combination of securities also. What I want to do is, I want to wind up the class now. I am going to tell you further part in my next class. See all of you guys. Bye all of you. I hope Markowitz model is clear to all of you and an efficient frontier. See all of you guys. Take care.